Hi everyone, welcome back to An Accidental Retiree. I'm Tammy E. And today I have a writing update for December. Normally I will do the writing update for the previous month on the second Wednesday of each month. That way it'll give me plenty of time to process what I've been doing and get it up and edited and out to you on what I did the previous month. And it also will, I have a short month coming up. December, I focused mostly on Christmas for my family, getting my house in order for Christmas for my family, baking Christmas cards. So the writing I did was mostly my Christmas cards. I did do a little polishing of that second chapter. I'm going to have to, frankly, when I do sit down again with that novel, I'm going to have to go back and read and do a little polishing and tweaking. And I plan to do that hopefully a little this week. I'm going to keep working on that novel. I don't expect to finish it in 90 days. We decided already after that 30-day fiasco that as a senior citizen, I'm not going to be able to do that type of thing. Things come up, like my husband is also getting older, and he had his first glimpse of what aging is like, where he had some nerve pain and he had a little issue come up that was really quite frightening because it was very sudden, and we were all a little shaken in our family because my husband is a very vital, spry 63-year-old man, and that just wasn't typical for him. And it was very scary. It made me realize that yes, at 65, which is what I turned, and 63, we're starting to see the end of our journey together and the end of our journey on this planet. But thankfully it wasn't serious. It's something that's going to be aggravating, just like the neck pain I have and the other issues I have. Maintain. And so that's what we're doing. And so for my writing this past month, I did look at that second chapter, revised it, got it to really kind of a good first draft final form. My plan for that novel is to reread those two chapters and move on a little bit, but I'm not sure I'm going to go full out. I'm going to be working on, most writers have more than one project that they're writing on. That's kind of a fact. Pulp fiction writers maybe don't do that because they're trying to get something out fast, but that's not what I am. I'm never going to be that. Not that my work is going to be any better than pulp fiction. I'm just saying that it's just not how I work. That's not my process. And I know this as a writer. I haven't really been published except for in National Writing Workshop booklet. That's the only place I was published. But I did do that, and I worked with real writers. And there are certain things in mechanics that I've always struggled with, and I'm still working on those things. I write way too much whenever I post on Facebook and so on, which I did a lot of that. I hate to say it. I got into some, I'd make a very small comment on something and then got into big things. And I don't know if it was because there was one thing I was very passionate about, our railroad museum in Green Bay. And I'm pointing to the north into Green Bay. They had a satanic Christmas tree, and it really, really upset me because we are struggling with something with my son-in-law and his belief system, and so it really triggered me. And So I really felt it had no place. And, so I said that I was in support of the bishop, the Catholic bishop, who came out publicly against that particular tree and how it was not in the spirit of Christmas and so on. Anyway, I kind of struggled with that part of December, and I almost didn't want to put up a Christmas tree. It was so offensive to me myself because I want no part of that. I have been baptized twice, so my parents renounced that type of belief twice for me. And the first time when I was born, I was very ill, and the first time I was baptized was in the hospital, and I didn't start getting better until I was baptized. So my faith it's just who I am. And my belief in God is just who I am. And I would not be here if I didn't believe that God had a purpose for me. And I always strive to find that purpose, not that I sometimes get lost in fact trying to find it, but and I was sick a lot as a child, and I had a near death type of another NDA when I was 9 years old. And so I do know what my true purpose has been and why I asked to stay here, because I remembered asking to stay on this planet. I wasn't supposed to necessarily be here. I was supposed to go home when I was very young, I think when I was born. And when I was so very sick when I was 9, I had an experience where I remembered begging to live because I wanted to see what was out here. And I know that they discussed something and she can teach them. And that's all I remember. And it was like in my delirium, I remembered that. And I was saying, my firm, I'm losing my firm. My mom said, well, it was to me, if I lived, I was not going to be the thin, skinny little kid anymore. I was going to be a heavy set, flabby type person. And that's what that was. But my mother thought it was like was in delirium, that I was a businesswoman and losing my firm or something, which I didn't even know that was another name for that. But I let her just think that, because it was such a weird experience. I didn't talk about it to anyone until I got older, and I haven't really shared that too much with anyone. But I do know that, I went and I prayed a lot and would go to chapel on my own at Carroll College when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I had wanted to be an actress, and I had struggled in high school with getting parts and so on because there was a lot of politics involved, I guess, is for the lack of a better explanation. So I stayed away from the theater my first year of college, and I had thought about being a teacher, but then I decided I wanted to make money. I was going to be a lawyer. I wanted to make a difference on the world. I was going to, be a political figure and do something like that. And so I was kind of a poli-sci major my first year of college, which I couldn't stand any of the pre-law students. There was one young woman we bonded, but we were the only two that were kind of going that direction at Carroll. And she was a brilliant person. And I did like her a lot. And I wonder what happened to her. She was a lot of fun. Clarice was her name. I can never forget that name. A redhead named Clarice. And we went and got her hair done, and she made sure I went to this fancy salon, which was a little out of my price range, but I did a little haircut treat, and it was neat. But anyway, the young men in the class, they were just phony, and I just didn't like them. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to stand working with people like that. That's just not going to be my thing. So that was my impression. And when I transferred to Madison, the University of Wisconsin-Madison the next year, and I knew a few pre-law students, and it just, I would not, I didn't think I was going to be happy fitting in that way. I just didn't think that would work, although I I did meet somebody who I know ended up as an attorney, and I knew a few that ended up as attorneys that I grew up with, and they were really nice guys. So, I mean, it may have been okay. But, know, there are good and bad of everything, but it just wasn't something I ended up wanting to pursue. And mainly because I did a lot of, as my mother was a teacher, I did a lot of tutoring because I was thinking about education in high school. I was thinking about being a music major and theater major and teacher. That's what I was really thinking of doing. But, if I did well enough, I'd try New York or something. That's kind of what was in the back of my mind a little bit. But I could do, and I would write during the summer. I had all these wonderful plans, which really were pretty good plans. So anyway, when I was at Madison, I ended up, I thought about becoming a forensic scientist, which I still think I would have enjoyed because I do love ID type shows and that kind of thing. I would have loved it, and I would have been on the cutting edge of that science. But the thing is, you needed to be a doctor, and I always wanted to be a doctor, but I was horrible in chemistry, and I had trouble with Krebs citric acid cycle and in biology, and I just try as I might to try to understand chemistry. I just don't work that way. So ended that idea, although I still was thinking about being an archaeologist and that a little bit. But then I really realized that I was happiest when I was tutoring kids. And so that's how I ended up being a teacher, which went back to they can teach. So I kind of thought, well, maybe that is the path that I'm supposed to do. Well, I struggled as a teacher to become a teacher and staying a teacher the whole career. It was not easy. I mean, some say I was a good teacher, and I do know that the kindergarten teachers, even though I was supposed to be not a great reading teacher, they made sure that any struggling student that possibly could struggle would have some time with me. Besides the kids that were super strugglers. And the parents noticed a difference and somehow they weren't informed that they were working with me, but they noticed the difference. They were, pleased that they were working with me. But the difference was that I was working with their child. And that was the most struggling one of the group. So, I had successes. I did, but I was not deemed, I was deemed deficient when I retired by the person that was the head of the department. So again, the politics or whatever. And I was 55, and they did tend in that district to try to ease even the best reading specialists when I was younger out the door at 55. So I retired at 55. I wish I'd kind of realized that that was going to happen, because I should have, when I finished my master's degree, gone on for my doctorate, which was my goal, because my goal was to end my career teaching teachers to teach and helping the younger teachers in their careers, which I always kind of did, seek out those younger staff members and make them comfortable and so on at the end of my career. And I got along with them. It was the ones that were in their 40s did not like me, and they were afraid I was going to, I don't know what they were afraid of, but whatever it was kind of funny, because the one that really wanted me out the door was the one that I went and said, this woman's a good teacher. I think, she's doing, but I didn't know really what she was doing. She was kind of abusive to her students. That was the problem with her. And so I know she was working on discipline and management types of things, but she was a little too hard on the kids. And I knew where it came from, because part of her training had been with the dance studio my children went to, and there was a lot of things going on there. Anyway, I've gone off topic quite a bit. So, my writing, it, like I said, polished that second chapter, thought about all these thoughts. So I've got all these things tooling, which are the end of the series. I've also decided that I'm going to go back because I'm mentioning things and characters in this book that come before. So I have to go to the beginning of the series. And last night I thought, this series is going to follow my mom's family. And then if I finish that series, ending with parts of my life, I will come in with another series that branches into it from my father's angle. So, these are stories that are based on my mother's family, things that I know, things that I experienced, but they're not. The further back that I go, see, the more fictional the characters become. And that's what I want, because even when I go into the area which would be things and events and the way I think about things, through things like the things I've just told you that happened to me, I want them to be so fictionalized that even the characters that are inspired by real people, they're not recognizable. They're not, they're very little is like that person. One, I don't want to be sued. Two, I want it to be fiction, and I also want to make the points that I learned along the way in life as I write this. And it's also a tool for my own learning as I go through this, because it's just amazing some of the ahas I've had in this last month as I've been thinking and doing a little research. I did do a little reading research for my writing. So that's what this month was. The big writing parts that I did were to my Christmas cards. I got them out for a change before Christmas, December 22nd. Not November 22nd like I wanted to have them ready, but still, they were ready before Christmas. Because so many years, I think even last year I sent them out in January. Yes, I was that late. So I was just tickled pink that I had that done. I had presents wrapped 2 days before Christmas. The day before Christmas, everything was wrapped. The tree was up. The cards were out. So guess what? I could bake cookies. And I made wreaths, and I'm going to be showing you that wreath at the end. My daughter and I on Christmas Eve made wreaths. On Christmas Eve, actually, on the 23rd, I made cookies, and my grandson had fun, and just chocolate chip cookies. And then it was just a sweet, simple Christmas season. My son-in-law and his family, in an act of goodwill, had our grandson stay with us as not planned all through Christmas and until New Year's Eve, New Year's weekend. So he had the New Year's with his other family, and we had just this nice quiet New Year's. My husband and I and my daughter went out to a masquerade ball, and she had a great time. And then, so we had just a lovely time. And, yeah, it was great. And my daughter and I made these wreaths that I'm kind of pointing at and looking at, but you can't see them. They're way off camera, but I will be showing you those. And we did those on Christmas Eve. My grandson and my husband went out and we cut little sprigs from a cedar type tree that we have. It's a family of cedars. It's not a true cedar, but it's in the family of cedars. And we have shrubs that are like that, but they're really trees now. They're very big. And it was just a very homey, wonderful, wonderful Christmas. We did FaceTime with my son and his wife and daughter, and both Christmas and New Year's and throughout the week. So it was just wonderful. And I hope you had such a wonderful time. So writing this month, I'm going to be working on the series, hopefully getting back to that novel a little bit, but actually digging more deeply into some of the earlier novels as I write those first drafts. Which one will finish first? I don't know at this point. It doesn't matter. The main thing is that I'm having fun. And I'm a retired lady and I'm having fun. I am accidentally retired because I just told you how I was kind of forced into retirement a little earlier than I wanted to be. And going back to that idea of teaching, I really truly believe that I'm still a teacher. I'm here to teach you some things about faith through my writing, through what I do on this channel, the things that I learn, the things I learn about others, because I do still plan on doing some murder mystery type things, some missing person, all that type of thing, true crime type thing. I do still plan on doing that. And I'm hoping that the experiences I had in this wonderful life that I've had, I can bring to you. And my teaching does not end. I don't really believe that teaching students in my classroom never did, that was really exactly what was meant when God decided I should stay. And these angels or whoever, that group of people decided that I saw, that discussed what I could do. And, the Creator allowed me to stay. I do believe that this is more closely related to that purpose. So anyway, that's what this channel is. It's a variety channel. If you want to take a deep dive into life and the experiences I have, my perspective, then do join me on this journey, my writing journey. I will have a sewing journey. I will have a true crime journey. And I always have this little fashion journey, which is kind of fun, but that's going to be more related to the sewing thing. And I hope that you will understand that life is wonderful. It's what you make it of it. Everyone struggles. And if we share and we recognize that each of us struggles in some way, your life is going to be better, and so is mine. And come join me if you'd like. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel, An Accidental Retiree. There's probably something for everyone out there. And bye for now. God bless and Happy New Year.